Good afternoon, and welcome to the 73rd Annual AHCA NCAL Convention. Today we have Gary Wong, Director of Respiratory Therapy Services at Islands in Hawaii. Gary, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I know your facility, I know you, and I am so excited to share with the viewers your skill set and all the things that you've accomplished. Specifically, we can go on a lot of subjects, but specifically the fact that you have developed respiratory therapy services and you've successfully transitioned patients off of ventilators, or you've treated them in a skilled nursing setting. Can you tell the viewers just about how you've developed this program?
Well, it's nice you asked, because in Hawaii, as you know, we don't have long-term acute care hospitals. So we designed Island Skilled Nursing to be an LTAC, but operating under the SNF license. So we have 42 beds, and we concentrate on the subacute 1 ventilator and subacute 2 trach patients. So our facility has all the technology, the same or better than most of the hospitals that you know of. So much of it is the use of technology, having a good respiratory therapy staffing ratio, 1 to 10, and then getting the hospitals comfortable to transition their patients straight from the ICU. So we have it now where our program is so successful that we can transition them with a warm handoff from the ICU starting from day 14. So we can transition them out from the ICU. And our metric now is we can wean and decannulate these patients in 30 days.
That is incredible. Incredible. I don't know that. So the industry is intrigued by this. Can you give us some of your techniques? How do you accomplish this? Do you have a manual? How do you recruit the people? What is your trick?
So it's good you asked. I think everybody wants to know what the secret sauce is, even though my CEO wanted to know what the secret sauce is. And when I really did some reflection, it's really a program. And so a good analogy is if you're from Boston, so you're the Boston Symphony conductor. I'm Honolulu, and let's say we have a colleague in the room from San Francisco. All of us know how to play Beethoven's 7th Symphony. And what's interesting is, as conductors, we have a passion on the way we're going to conduct that piece of music, that score of music. And then under us, we have our very talented and accomplished musicians, but each of them have their own caliber, and each of them will be different in the different cities. So what I'm trying to get at is we'll all play Beethoven's 7th Symphony, and we'll all sound different. So in Islands, what makes our program special and why we can get consistent metrics is the caliber of therapists that I hire. I hire them, believe it or not, straight from school. So I do the training up front. So basically, I'm their trainer, and much of it now, when I look back, they've been practicing with me for 7 years. So when you have your team practicing together, we're like a physician, a group practice model. So we're staying in this lane. We don't have therapists that are going outside the lane in the slow mode. We don't have therapists going rogue in the fast lane. We're staying in the lane so that we're all moving in the same direction. So it's not like when in the typical acute care model, some nurses are very pro patient, and they keep moving the patient forward, and some just status quo. Well, in our model, everybody's pushing the patient forward so that we can get the 30-day metrics. So that's one element. So the training and the people that you hire, you have to pay attention to them and retain them, so you have consistency in your program. The second reason, I think, is that we do a page out of the gym playbook. So if you hired me as your personal trainer in our program, when we wean you off the vent, I'm staying with you. So I can be saying, hey, Chris, do you realize you've been off the vent for 10 minutes? We've been talking 10 minutes now, but I've been distracting you. We're having this conversation, and you don't even know I flipped the switch where you're breathing on your own, and that's how I'm getting it. So I said, hey, you've been weaning, and much of it is the patients can be weaned because most of them don't have underlying respiratory diseases. They just were ventilator dependent because of their respiratory failure. So we get them comfortable where they're not anxious, and that's our two secret sauces. And so we're very proud of that.
That's amazing. One quick question, last question. How do you, and it could be industry standard, how do you come up with that 1 to 10 ratio?
Well, it's interesting because when I first transitioned to islands, that was one of the things I wanted to do, because at the former facility where it all started, the ratio was 1 to 20. And when I look back on it now, we barely could manage the patients. So it's almost like a general hospital model where you're just keeping the patients pretty much alive, right, on the ventilator, and no chance to wean or decannulate them. So with a better staffing ratio, you can have these outcomes. So if there again, with the staffing model being 1 to 10, I can talk to you comfortably all this time. In a regular staffing model, I would be worried that I would be getting behind. But so I tell the therapist that I'm really paying you to be talking to the Chris's, to get to know her, what she likes, because we want to get to know her, educate her, make her feel comfortable. Because when we want her to do the hard work to wean, it's almost like in school, much of us remember PE. We didn't like PE. We didn't like it in elementary, we didn't like it in middle school, and we certainly didn't like it in high school. So when you ask these patients to rehab, where they're getting off the vent or getting their OTPT or speech, it's hard work. So they're really exercising. So you really gotta motivate them and engage them. So a lot of it is delivering compassionate care. Yeah.
Well, listen, Gary Wong, you are amazing, and I think that a lot of viewers are going to be incredibly interested in this, because you gave us the secret sauce. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it, but to have that type of outcome is unheard of. So we want to share your success story with a lot of people. So thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah.
Gary Wong, Islands in Hawaii, and Director of Respiratory Therapy Services. Thank you, Gary.
Aloha.